Hello there, Isadora. My name's Andrew. I'm the essay corrector here at IELTSpodcast.com. Each time you submit pieces of work, I will be reading through them sentence by sentence, offering you some grammatical corrections, some suggestions for better phrasings, as well as offering commentary on how well you responded to the task, and, I suppose, the structure of your writing. Now, we shouldn't really have any problems with structure, because this is covered in detail in the course. Academic language is very important, so we'll be covering that. But first of all, let's see how well you responded to the task in this first essay. Just a side note, the best way to learn from these corrections is to apply the corrections to your own work yourself. In this way, over the course of the 8 essay corrections, you'll learn to spot your own mistakes. When you're sitting the exam, it's much easier to write a fully coherent essay if you're aware of the mistakes you've been making previously. So first of all, your introduction. You've talked about skills, but this question asks about skills and imagination. So you've focused on the practical aspects, but not on the creative aspects. So this is an example of how we can lose points in task response by not answering the question completely. And here, let's not hone in on manual skills in the introduction. This is far too specific for a general introduction. So let's say a far greater range of skills than purely intellectual activities such as reading. We don't use like in place of such as. This is informal. Always use such as. From my point of view, sharing a day with children playing video games. This should be 2 words. Playing video games or sports. We don't need the verb twice. Sharing a day playing video games. Sharing a day with children playing video games or sports. Don't need that comma. May be more beneficial for the practical development of adult skills as well as creative ability. Because this then satisfies the task. One point I'd like to make that you did well is that you picked up on that it's playing with children. Some people completely miss this fact and just start talking about activities that children can do on their own. But what we need to be fully responding to the task is talking about things we can do with children to develop skills and imagination. So, playing on electronic consoles can develop numerous manual abilities that would be impossible to learn just by reading. Just by reading or solely by reading. This is because playing on video games, we should have by playing on video games because we have a child there. This is because by playing on video games, a child can stimulate special cognitive areas of the brain impossible to activate through reading material. Cognitive areas of the brain is not quite right because all areas of the brain are cognitive, really. So we could just change this to specific areas of the brain impossible to activate through reading material. Or because we're talking about material, we should say consuming reading material. For example, recent studies by Harvard showed that children playing 2 hours per week on consoles such as PlayStation outperform. This is not quite clear. We should really talk about their counterparts. Their counterparts are the others who do not do this. Thus, the benefits of playing with video games, see it likes it there, are clear since they give a child the opportunity to progress their cognitive development. That's good, but I think we need to make this more specific. What areas? Is it spatial awareness? Is it hand-eye coordination? Is it reaction times? Is it So we have all of these areas of cognitive abilities that we could have spoken about here. Instead of just being general, we really should refer specifically to the areas that you're talking about. Because you talk about areas of the brain and cognitive development, which is a general response in this paragraph. But a specific response, a precise response, would be to refer to the exact skills that it develops, such as hand-eye coordination, reaction times, etc. Similarly, other extracurricular activities such as sports are essential for the development of teamwork ability. This is due to the fact that physical activity introduces new dynamics such as competition and stimulates motor skills. Good, so now we're being a bit more specific. For instance, the British Sport Council have noticed that students who attend sport classes have more social abilities than those who did not. Consequently, once again, social skills such as working in a team or working as part of a team are impossible to develop by reading. Good, but remember, excuse me, that we must raise, as one of our ideas, we must raise the idea of imagination, creative ability, and how this how other activities increase imagination. So even maybe video games. You could say that video games have storylines just the same way as books do, but they're far more engaging. Interactive stories are video games. So we could have put this in here. We could have referred to imagination in here due to the fact that playing on video games is a more interactive story experience. To sum up, although reading enriches a person, some skills should necessarily be reached. Some skills should necessarily be focused on through other activities such as playing game consoles for cognitive training or playing sport for working on a team. In the future, these kinds of activities will be mandatory in every single school as part of, let's say, our child's development. But yeah, like I said, this is good now, but be more specific and also remember every part of the question. But let's move on to your next piece. So, communication is less between family members these days. Is it true? So, this should be familial. Over the last century, familial meetings and discussions, it would be better to say have become, because you've used over the last century. Over the last century, familial meetings have become less and less common, or decreasingly common, or increasingly uncommon. It seems to me that this problem is mostly related with the consequences of globalization, also British English, and let's say mounting financial issues or modern financial issues. So what I would do here is say, many would argue that communication amongst family members has diminished recently. Personally, I believe that over the last century, familial meetings and discussions have become less and less common. It seems to me that this problem is mostly related with the consequences of globalization and modern financial issues. Which I shall explore further below. So, cover the question first, and then tell us whether you agree with it or not. Because this is to what extent do you agree or disagree. So also we could say I strongly believe, because it's to what extent. To begin with, many young people live far away from family units since new job opportunities are available in foreign countries. Yeah, that's fine. This means that they face several major drawbacks, such as time difference. The time difference, it would be. For instance, a recent study conducted by Yale University showed that well over 60% of its international students, is this talk with their close family once per week. We could add a comma here and say normally using social media, free social media resources such as Skype. Therefore, so we've talked about the fact that they are living in foreign countries, but why are they? In modern times, more job opportunities are available in foreign countries as a result of I want to talk about ease of travel. So actually we could just say globalization, because that covers it. So secondly, even those who live in the same household have problems staying in touch because of the current economic crisis. Economical is fine, but it would be said by an English person as this, the current economic crisis. This is due to many people. So either this is due to the fact that many people have, or this is due to many people having an extremely low minimum wage, and this doesn't make sense. So an extremely low minimum wage and being forced to take additional jobs to increase their annual income. For example, an epidemiological research study conducted by a Spanish sociologist revealed that 1 out of every 5 children barely sees their parents less than 3 times per week because of their busy jobs. I think rarely actually would be better. Thanks, Google Documents. Consequently, household financial problems affect family members' relationships. Yeah, that's actually fine. That's focused, it's well expanded, it's supported. To conclude, I fully agree with the current I fully agree with the idea that current communication between family members is poor, although this question asks about whether it has been reduced or not about the quality of it. So we should just say less or less frequent. I believe the major reason for this is the global economic slump and its consequences. Oh, don't start sentences with conjunctions. Let's just do, in the future, steps should be taken to mitigate this issue. Otherwise, the problem will continue growing. Good, so there we go. First essay's done, boxed off. I'll send these over to you now. What I would like you to do is work through your own work, correct it, send me a list of the errors you made most frequently, as well as your 2 new essays, and I will get them back to you ASAP. All the best, Isadora. Have a great day. Speak soon.